Hi everyone, so I am on the road again, but don't worry, there's absolutely nobody practically on the road except the guy next to me. So this is the first day that I'm actually going over our bridges to get off the island to get some food, because we tried not to go to any of the places, but our county seems to be very steadily in very, very good shape as far as the cases are concerned. So not only that, there was practically no increase, but I think we had the entire county, we had like 4 or 5 deaths and so forth. So it's been a really good thing. So I just wanted to show you a little bit of the bridges that I'm going through, and I wanted to tell you a little bit about those emotional triggers. Just let's see, this is one of the bridges that I go through. So this is my first time over the bridge in 4 weeks. So there you go. So what I wanted to talk to you about is I'm putting together right now a 3-module course specifically for how to identify and neutralize these emotional triggers. And I figured I gotta give you guys something from this as well. Hey Sharon, hey Jason, and here's where we always make a joke about these triggers on a way that, oh well, when I go to my family gatherings, I just don't want to be there because that guy is going to show up, or that particular family member is going to show up. Well, you know what? Right now, although we don't have family gatherings, we are with our families, and we are with our spouses, and we are with our close individuals that we have to deal with, and those triggers have to be looked at. But not only because of your present closed-in environment, but also because of how it's affecting you, maybe even without you knowing. How is it affecting you in your job, in your advancement, and so forth and so on? Hold on, look at the second bridge. Yeah, okay, that's the second bridge. So these are the bridges that I just absolutely love coming down to. So here's what the problem is. Hey Sharon, this is where we have a couple of things that you need to look at. Number one is, as long as you have, and you know what I'm talking about when I'm saying trigger. The trigger is that somebody can give you a look, somebody can say something in a particular way. I'm sure that through my lives, a bunch of times I triggered others, or I've done something or said something that was not the right way, or even just the fact that I am going live 35 days now in a row, and some people were like, you're going out and you're acting like everything is so great, and things are not that great, and things are not that good. I'm like, I'm not acting like that things are great, because I know they're not. I'm just trying to provide some positivity in the midst of the craziness. And since I have been so far fairly unscathed, I want to give my energy to those of you who are maybe going low on it because you weren't unscathed. So these triggers, whenever somebody does something, because, what's the big deal about, for example, going live 35 days, right? But the thing is, it triggers something in people. And the same thing when you are with your family, when you are with your spouse, and they say or do something in a particular way. I mean, for example, I love my husband to pieces, and, my family knows that I do, right? But for whatever reason, 20 years we've been together, and in that 20 years, almost never does he call me by my name, or honey, or sweetheart, or something. Every time he wants something, he says hello. And I was triggered by this. I cannot tell you, constantly. I have no idea why I was so triggered by this, but I was consistently triggered by this. And about 5 years ago, I realized that this trigger was coming actually from when my father used to always whistle when he needed our attention. He really didn't care who came out of the 3 children, but he was also whistling when I was alone in the house. And I'm like, why whistle? Why not just call me by my name, right? So then we had this conversation years later. But the point is that these kind of triggers are constantly in there, and this may not be a big deal, okay? So my husband triggers me like that a little bit, fine. But here's what I want to tell you about. How about those triggers that when you are about to make something big, when you are about to break through in maybe in your business, how about you have a plan to go for a promotion, okay? And you constantly putting it off because just the mere idea of going for it and having potentially be rejected, it's triggering you even before you even doing anything about it, okay? So the point here is that it's not just about the fact that we are emotionally getting triggered, but how those emotional triggers are actually bringing you down in your forward motion as a human, as a business person, as someone who wants to do a good job. So make sure that you understand that there's a couple things you can do. What I do right now is every time I get triggered, I actually welcome the trigger. So when something gets me out of my normal zone, something gets me out of my normal moment, and I feel that emotional trigger, like yesterday I got an email, and in that email I noticed something that was just, I interpreted that something as negative for me, as maybe a demeaning of the work that I do or so forth, like so something like that. So suddenly that was this anger coming on. It was so weird because I was actually doing great. We had our exercise program, everything was fine. So I was doing really well. And suddenly just by reading that, hi Elaine, just by reading that particular email, suddenly that was this knot in my stomach. So it was obvious that that was a trigger that I haven't attended to yet. So when you feel something like that, the number one thing to do is don't press it down. That's just the worst things you can do and just, okay, I will overcome it. No. What is it telling you? What is it leading you back? What's really below it? Because you're not going to be able to get rid of it just like that. You have to be able to go in. And I don't care if you're a man or an independent woman, a strong woman who doesn't need any help, or that this is not a problem. It is a problem because if you keep re-triggering yourself, whatever it is, if you're allowing it to trigger you and do it again and do it again, every time you get triggered emotional like that, there is cortisol, boom, right into your bloodstream. And if it's going right into your bloodstream, what do you think it's creating? It's creating all this havoc in your system. So please understand, it's not about who is, whether you're going to overcome it or not overcome, or whether you're going to argue with your wife or not going to argue, or with your husband, or if you are going to get your promotion or not going to get your promotion. You're also going to be impacting your health every time you don't look into where these triggers come from. So like in this course, we'll literally go through every single part of it, and then there is another additional to the course where we actually literally neutralize it. I have about 2 or 3 different techniques that we use. But the point is, you need to understand that trigger is bad for you, but it is also an incredible source for growth. So if you guys have a growth mindset, if you want to get better, use this time that you have right now to get better. Make sure that you really, really look into those things, okay? So when you get triggered, you will feel it emotionally, you will feel it physically, you will, have the blush, you will have literally, your blood pressure is gonna go up and all that. Then make sure that you look into this so you don't repeating it. And the other part about this, Denise, how you doing, Denise? The other part about this is I don't ever want to give anybody else or anything else control over my life, okay? And with not looking at your triggers and with giving into them and allowing them to trigger you time to time or maybe often, what you do is you literally give control of your life to somebody else or something else. I don't know about you, but most of the friends that I have on Facebook, I don't think if I tell you that I'm going to take control over your life, I don't think you would want to just lie down and let me have it, right? I don't think so. Well, why do you let your triggers do that? Why do you let emotional sensations and things that you probably learned or experienced and got stuck in your system since childhood, why are you letting those go with you? Okay? All right, ladies and gents, this is it for Saturday. Hopefully tomorrow we're going to get some exercise done. And just keep looking at those triggers. We're going to get back to it a little bit later, but just track them for now. That how many times a day do you get triggered, and is it a pattern? Is there a pattern there? And is that pattern something that you can do something about? Okay? All right, have a good one, guys. I gotta go have dinner. This really smells good, what I have here. Again, this is, I showed you guys the bridge because this was the first day I went over the bridge in 3.5, 4 weeks. All right, everyone, have a good day. Bye.